Hello and welcome to Robbie and James Talk Music, the podcast where Robbie and James talk music. We're your hosts, Robbie Maxted, a creative writing professor.
And I'm James Wicks, a professor of film and media studies.
This week's episode is an on-rotation episode where we talk about what we've been listening to, reading, and watching lately. Before we get going with today's content, James, I wanted to try to shock you.
Okay.
You tried to shock me last episode.
I did try to shock you.
And it was unsuccessful, I think.
Yeah, it was.
But I don't know, it just met expectations. But I'm curious if this shocks you.
Sure.
I re-listened to the Taylor Swift album after...
Oh, my gosh.
After we had that conversation, and I still hate it. but that's not the part that surprised me.
No, that's not surprising at all.
You. But I actually really like the first two tracks.
Okay, all right.
There's something really different than what I usually hate about Taylor Swift with those two tracks. It felt like musically really interesting to listen to somehow with both The Fate of Ophelia and Elizabeth Taylor.
Yes.
So I ended up enjoying those two on a re-listen.
That's really beautiful. And I'm always happy to talk about Taylor Swift. When I asked you in the previous episode what you thought about it, I hoped you would say that you were horrified because that episode I was talking about horror film, and that was going to be my correlation. You weren't horrified. I never returned to my purpose of saying it. It just hung in the air until the next episode. So I'm glad we brought it full circle. I'm glad you like those tracks. As you know, it's not my favorite album, but I'm a big fan. I think it's a solid listen. The experience you have with the first two songs is my experience all the way through. So we relate, 18% of the time, and once again, takes place here with this record as well. I'll take it.
Cool. Well, I'm curious what you have been listening to lately. Do you want to start us out?
Yeah, we're going to listen to a song by Black Rebel Motorcycle Club.
I am unfamiliar with Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. I like this one, though. It feels like just slow, kind of toned back, grungy a little bit.
Yes.
It feels like music that I'd have on in the background as I'm either driving or working on something in the office. Is this a band that you love and are pumped about? You saw them in concert recently?
Yeah, that's right. So it's definitely on rotation for having seen them about 10 days ago at the North Park Observatory. I had a chance to go there with my son, Dylan, and it's a band that I've liked now for about 25 years. And I just spontaneously got the tickets. I had low expectations, just wanted to go out with my son. And one thing they did, Robbie, that was so cool, because I think some of their faster songs, I don't know if it really fits in your genre of what you like, but they did something I've never seen a band lean into so carefully and thoroughly. And namely, they played acoustic opener. They had a lot of real intimate moments. The first hour was super quiet. They didn't play any of their hits.
Interesting.
And you and our friend Eddie would have totally loved it. It was bluesy, Americana, singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
And they really leaned into the fact that you can go online and hear all their fast, grungy, some of the songs are really poppy and fast. You might, because it's a little bit out of your genre, you might even associate it with Green Day or something in terms of that 4/4 time fast beat and such.
Sure.
But the first hour was just an experience that you can only get in person. And then after about an hour of doing that, then they just started ramping it up, and the needle, goes from 5 to 6 to 7. But it was during that end of that first set that they played this song called Haunt. I'm a big fan of their wide variety from shoegaze, garage rock. It has distortion, Americana, a psychedelic component to it. It's obviously a slower song, but it was just so beautiful. And the song is called Haunt. It was just so hauntingly beautiful live. I was really excited to share it with you, and I've just been listening to Black Rebel Motorcycle Club on repeat. And they're called BRMC for short, which is why I even struggle saying their whole name all the way through. But super fun to introduce to you today.
So is this a song that you had on your radar previously that you loved and then were like glad that they played? Or was this like one that from the show now you're like jazzed about it?
It's the latter for sure. I have a habit of in a concert, if I'm not familiar with the song, writing on my phone an excerpt from the lyrics so I can look it up later. And to my son's credit, he hates it when I'm on my phone during a show. He just wants me to be in the moment. You know, he knows when to put his phone down. And then there's his dear old dad messing up the moment by being, disengaged. But really in that moment, I'm either using my phone to film or I'm writing down a couple lyrics so I can come to the song later. And this is one that I've had on repeat since then. So.
Or on Facebook, right? Like checking all your many notifications.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the last time I did that was 2016, Robbie. And due to political reasons, that will get me very exasperated at the moment. So yeah, that's funny.
It's almost like I knew that would get you upset.
I know. I'm going to be so angry while we listen to your song. Just kidding. So yeah, Robbie, what do you have next for us?
Yeah, I have Knights in Armor by Water From Your Eyes from their 2025 album, It's a Beautiful Place.
Fight you 'cause I'm tired and you trash around a fire in a world that never thought I know. Spite me, I'm on fire.
So, Robbie, thanks for introducing me to a new track. I think among the recent episodes that we've had and thinking through the songs you've played, I think this is the one that will be most likely on my rotation.
Cool.
And I love the way that it grabbed me upon the first listen. I went online during the listen, and this is an AI overview. There's some terms I hadn't heard before. Certainly shoegaze is an overlap, and that's, I think, a sound that I love and where we overlap. The two AI-generated phrases, avant rock, I think that applies. And I've never heard this uttered previously, metal-inspired bedroom pop, which I also think is fantastic way of describing a song that's so catchy, a little, there's a heavy sound that's stripped down, and I really, really like that upon first listen.
Yeah, I was doing similar work prior to the episode, thinking through like, where does this fit in? And it seems like the two labels that are most used for this band is alt pop or art rock, where it's like the sound is not so mainstream, but also it's like still accessible somehow.
Yeah, it's I love it. I can't wait to re-listen to this one.
Yeah, this is a band consisting of Nate Amos, who is well known for This Is Lorelei, and then Rachel Brown, who you can listen to as Thanks for Coming on Spotify. So interesting to see them coming together for this band and being real productive. Since 2016, they've put out 7 albums and 5 EPs, as well as a remix album. So yeah, I was really interested in this sound when it first popped in. I think I have the algorithms of Spotify to thank for this one. It just popped up and it just caught my attention while I was doing some work and was like, oh, gotta re-listen to that one. The whole album is actually really good too. I haven't yet dipped into all of those 7 albums and 5 EPs and 1 remix album yet, but at some point I'm gonna get to those. I think I've listened to maybe 1 of the 7 other albums. I enjoyed it.
Oh, that's awesome. I know we're going to talk about it on another episode as well, but what do you think that your proximity to listening to Geese is one of the reasons why this band was suggested? Are they in a similar exploration genre area in the music world that you're in right now?
I've been listening to Geese a bunch lately, and it actually was after I finished listening through an album by Geese that then this one was suggested to me.
That's fun.
So yeah, definitely a similarity there.
Now, when we have our on rotation episodes like this one, it's what you and I are listening to right now on the daily, but we also want to bring in a film or movie or TV show that's related to our respective disciplines. When you think of the essay that you're going to talk about today, is it also on rotation for you? Is it an essay you're reading recently, or is it one that you've read previously that you associated to the sound of this song?
Yeah, I'm actually really glad you brought up AI, because I didn't tell you that this essay was about AI, so perfect overlap. But an essay that I've read recently is one that just published early October in 2025 by Sean Cho A. The title is called Human Error is the Point on Teaching College During the Rise of AI. Folks can read it at the Rumpus. I'll link to it in the episode description. But really, I think important essay about the importance of teaching and how teaching cannot be replaced by AI. Because teaching and learning is about spending time with other humans, that space that is inhabited by a group of people, taking the time to listen to one another, to talk with each other, and then he argues to make mistakes with one another, is how we learn and how we become more human. And I think that that is really important and sometimes gets lost in conversations about AI, where AI is framed as like the solution for everything. When in actuality, I think nothing can replace spending time with a group of humans thinking about whatever it is that you're discussing or learning. And I think that togetherness is so essential right now.
That's interesting, Robbie. I'm really excited to be piloting a course in communication studies this coming semester on AI.
Oh, sick.
And it will be entitled AI Communication, Literacy, and Ethics. And I can't wait to read this article. It's a backbone and backdrop to the inspiration to pilot a class along these lines for our students. I do want to come back to the connection between the essay and this song. Where did you find that connection? And again, was it because it's recent in your recent experiences and readings, or is it because there's a connection between AI maybe and the song specifically?
Yeah, I think actually, in a weird way, both. On the one hand, this is something that I just read lately and have been thinking about. And I do want to say before I forget that I think this would be a great essay for anybody to assign who teaches.
That's
like
fantastic.
Early in a semester, just to get students thinking about a learning context and how AI could fit into that, or should not fit in perhaps in other ways.
Thank you for the recommendation. I'll take you up on that.
But also, I think there's like just a twanginess to this track with the guitar and almost like a metallic sound. It does sort of feel in those guitar sections almost like when you shake your keys and it makes that sort of metallic clatter.
Yes.
For some reason, that's like what I think of when I think of AI, is just this like machine that's like very metallic, even though that's not how it works. But that's sort of like the image that I have when I think of how AI functions for some reason. And so I don't know if it might be a stretch, but that's how it kind of fits in, I think.
That's cool. For me, I had an inverse response, and namely the jangly part of it to me was the human component.
Oh, interesting.
It made me think that you could pop out any old song that you and I would probably enjoy if we had the proper input. We'd probably hear a song produced by AI that we didn't be inclined to agree with, but there was a human dimension. Even you saying the keys jangling, it requires someone to physically be there, have that in their pockets, walk down the road, and the capturing is electronic and digital, but there's always going to be something human in that, and that's where I saw it.
Yeah, there's like a roughness or a I guess it gets to that idea of making mistakes together.
Yeah. Yes.
That can't be replicated.
That's right.
What is the film or TV series that you wanted to touch on today?
For sure. So just by sheer coincidence and proximity, I've been watching The Chair Company, which is Tim Robinson's current show on HBO Max. And so I've been listening to BRMC over and over. I've been just swept away by the comedy, brilliance, oddities of Tim Robinson's work. And so those are both informing my times right now, both for pleasure, for relaxation, but just stems into day-to-day work and life, thinking about the sounds and comedy of these artists. So that's what I have on rotation.
Cool. I have that on my list of things to watch, so I'm excited to talk about it with you more at some point.
Yeah, I love
I've
that.
Watched it.
And you've seen way more of Tim Robinson's work than I have, so I'll appreciate your insights when we get to that conversation. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm curious. I love Detroiters, which is his, I think it was his first show on Netflix.
I love the summary you gave of it to me, and it just made me want to watch it even more.
So I'm curious how The Chair Company compares.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks y'all for listening today. As always, thanks to our producer, Danny Martinez. You're awesome and your work is excellent. So really appreciate it. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.